Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the finale of The Sword, the Crown, the Unspeakable Power. Wreathe your hands in blood. We've had a lot of blood already. Some of it was on people's hands, and I expect the session will be no different. We again have some new players, returning players. So let's do a brief, punchy intro for all of you. Let's start with Auntie Greybone.
I'm playing Anti-Greybone, the Hex. Anti-Greybone is actually the head of House Greymark, which is one of the few remaining noble houses in the land. I appear on screen as a Palpatine, very sunken in and twisted and old with a cowl over my head. And I use my terrible magics and other unscrupulous methods to keep my house alive and safe and protected from the barbarian hordes, particularly the soul doves.
Speaking of those soul doves, Loic.
We are far from being barbarians. We are, in fact, people who lived in the under House Harbinger for many years, and then were treated badly, ran away into the woods and mountains, and came back in force to destroy the corruption of the nobility. And I am Loic Soul Dove, the person who has risen amongst these, some call us bandits, I call us revolutionaries, to take control of this city of Azatira. We had hoped to press our revolution further, but we were stopped by weird weather that had nothing to do with the sacrifice of dozens of grandchildren. Right now, I'm in the middle of a situation where I'm being pressed on by neighboring powers, and I've got some people I'm looking to throw under the cart.
Great. And let's go to you, Pine Strider.
So, Pine Strider, they were famous members of the Ice Wonders, known for her fancy leather boots, her good old age looks, and disarming smile. And they were known for being quite smart and capable in crossing the icy lands and venturing where nobody dared to go. And they did so much work in behalf of House Greymark that they rewarded her by offering her to York. So her body has been offered in a profane ritual to this demonic entity. But what happened to her mind and spirit? Who knows?
Great. And now Finnick.
Yeah, I am playing Finnick. Finnick is a Darklander. We are a small people, small in stature and small in reputation, mainly because we don't care about our reputation, and therefore we are used quite often for dirty work because we really don't care what people think about us. We are outcasts. Playing the Black Hood, which means I'm a secretive character. Always concealed, always wearing black, always got a black hood on. But when you look at a Darklander, you're kind of taken aback because they're small of stature and they always have like this serene, calm, peaceful look on their face, which is a lot of times unsettling to some people knowing the things that we have done in the past. And Finnick's here now because of heard there were some problems with Loic, who had paid us before to do some things, and decided to come to this cold, godforsaken land to see what we could get our hands into.
Excellent. Let's get you to roll your patron move first.
Okay. Do we have a roll for your party?
We do. It's what was it? Put it somewhere. It's not there anymore. It's fine. I'll do a roll for your party. Give me a sec. Oh. think it was in like Matt's thing, so it's gone forever.
Okay, so I roll with steady.
Mhm.
I'll go green. It's 8 plus 2, that's a 10.
Oh. Okay. Huh. Interesting. I have a question for you, Finnick. Considering that your patron, Loic, is very satisfied with how you're doing, you're probably back for a mission. Who who of the PCs, Loic included, actually no, probably not Loic included. Who of the PCs are you most afraid of finding out your mission? And do you think is most likely to do it?
I think Auntie Greybone would be the most terrifying if she knew about the mission. We've heard rumors about Auntie Greybone, and even being Darklanders, they are terrifying rumors.
Fair? Okay. Now let's go into the spirit plane. Heinstrider. What is the most unexpected thing about the spirit plane for you?
It's warm. It's really warm. It's a warm that she only remembered when she was a little child, back when there were still seasons. It's like the hottest day of summer.
What do you see? Do you see yourself? Or is it just light?
I see bright orange and yellow light, some mockery of land and sky. And I see in the middle of this a bent willow over a pool of blood. And the willow is crying drops of blood.
Do you walk towards the willow?
I try to motion myself to walk, and I find that it's weird to me. It's like my body's not obeying me. And at some point I stop trying to walk, and I just concentrate on the willow, and suddenly I'm underneath it. And I can see the blood coming down the leaves and crossing over my conscience before falling into the pool.
Do you taste it?
No. But somehow I know how it tastes like. I can feel the poor concept of blood, fierce, thick, and it's everywhere. It leaves my senses drunk.
When you look down, you are in that pool of blood. And this time, the ground is not as hazy as it was before. Before, it just all seemed like almost like watercolor. But this time, you see that it's solid. There's it's all dirt. There's no grass, and it's cracked. Like you've seen it on people before. Some people that you've encountered, and it's just so cold and so dry. You've seen their skin crack, and then there's blood seeping out of there. This is what it looks like. All of the ground. There's just that little bit of blood seeping out. And you see them all flowing very, very slowly towards the the base of the willow tree, and you know that they are what is powering this tree. And you hear a voice. It says, "It's been a while since a sacrifice is able to make it this far."
Well, I guess it's been a while since there have been willing supplicants.
You hear, maybe it's a laughter, not sure, but the ground shakes a little bit. You can feel yourself sway just a little bit as well. And what is it that you wish for?
I was always very proud on my skills in life. I don't think that part of me changed. I want to be more skilled at whatever secrets of the spirit there are. I guess I want to know a bit more about how to get good at channeling this world.
You feel something close around your throat. It squeezes pretty tightly and you choke for just one moment. It disappears. That is quite bold.
Perhaps I will say it's what I am at my core, and something tells me that in a place like this, I'm able to stand out because I'm holding to my core. I don't think it's a good idea for me to stop being bold now. I think that's all I have left.
And then there's silence. It feels like it could be just like a minute, but it also feels like it could be an eternity. Nothing changes around you, and except for the drops of blood that continues to fall on you. And finally, when you feel like you can't actually remember your own voice anymore, that voice speaks again. Very well. Your ears now belong to me, as does your tongue. And then the blood, the next drop of blood, you see it like slow motion fall on your forehead, and where it falls, it's like it sets you on fire. And this is a similar sensation to during the ritual when you knew that your mortal life was fading away. And this burns, and you put your hands to your ears, and you can see blood streaming out of them. And then it feels like your mouth is filled with liquid. So when you open it, more blood flows out. But you don't see anything because all you see is this bright light. And the next moment is darkness. Where do we find you, Loic?
I think that I am reading and hearing reports about this revolution, this fomenting of rebellion against the church. which normally I would be deeply sympathetic with, tear down the hierarchy. But right now, I've kind of need them. So I'm reading over this, and I think that is the point at which I will send for Fennec.
Okay, Fennec. A messenger comes for you. Where do they find you?
Just standing amongst the people. You know, I'm not sure exactly the setting, and like, is it like a bustling town, or is it, you know, kind of quiet, or
Yeah,
is it
it's like
just madness right now?
It's like a fort town almost. There's walls around this place. This is a very mountainous area, and it's very hard to get to. It's just partly why this rebellion was successful to start with. And there's a temple in the middle of it. It's pretty it's pretty populated for its location.
Yeah, I would say perhaps I am at the temple. Just standing amongst the people, not really even like participating in anything they're doing, but just milling about amongst the people, just quietly.
Yeah. You hear a voice at your ear saying, "You're wanted." And then when you turn around, you see the back of a person walking away.
Yeah, I know exactly exactly where I'm wanted. I just kind of just nod my head and head towards the Soul Dove's place.
And where does Finnick find you? Like,
not in the main rooms that I would normally hold, but perhaps in that burnt wing where I've kind of scraped together a couple of rooms where the cold wind cuts through that, and I will wait there. Finnick.
I like when I walk, it's like you don't hear it, you don't like, it's almost like my steps don't even echo when you hear me walk. They're almost just kind of like soft thuds that don't even echo.
Whereas I'm a good 6 foot, and when I sit in a chair, I kind of like can't quite fit into it. I'm too big for the chairs here, yet I'm trying to be graceful, and it's not working at all. Finnick, I have something I need you to do for me, and I will reward you as befits your station and offer you a barter, which is a significant chunk of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just, Finnick's just nodding at you. Like, even sitting down, you're kind of like almost eye level with Finnick.
So you've been out in the streets. You can see that the church is in dire circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, what I'm hearing about the church is somewhat disturbing. I'm going to go and speak to them, or at least anyone that I can find who's a representative, to speak to them on the dispensation of one of their leadership that I happen to have in pocket.
And what does that bring me in?
What I need you to do is, one of these fucks someone has taken Bahava, one of my close associates. They have gotten her, and she is one of them that I trust. What I would like you to do is I would like you to find out who has her. I would like you to retrieve her and I would like you to murder everyone involved in the taking of her.
This may not necessarily all occur at the same time.
That is fine. Getting her back is job one. Murder is job two.
But this is more than rescue, murder, reconnaissance.
No, I think there's political aspect to this deeper than I can see right now. I'm not so good at the drawing lines between things.
No, I'm just setting up my price list. Murder, rescue, reconnaissance, and assurance of my quiet about the situation.
Mm-hmm. I'll start with a barter and we can talk terms when a piece of this has been completed. How does that sound?
Sounds fair. I'll find out who's holding your friend. And then we'll see what you're willing to pay me for it.
So, Loic, you sent Finnick away on a mission before.
Mm-hmm.
What was it?
Oh, I imagine that Finnick was sent to ascertain the health of the heirs of Greybone. That we'd heard rumors, maybe they'd come through a particular bard, that there was not all in the up and up there, and Finnick was sent there to see what he could find out. Though that is a secret that was closely kept, so may not have gotten me any information. Does that seem fair?
So, Finnick, do you report on that?
I reported what I didn't find.
Hmm?
I reported on what I didn't find, which was no substantiation to the rumors. But it wasn't easy. I mean, blood had to be spilled to even get close.
So we can't say, I mean, I've heard tell from the missives that I've had from the house that this son, the heir who's not on the throne for some reason, is well endowed and physically impressive, but no confirmation on any of that, huh?
Are you talking about Greymark, Jurgen Greymark?
Yeah, the one with the heart condition.
Yeah,
Isn't Jurgen your nephew?
Jurgen's my nephew, and my
Doran
young
is Jurgen.
yeah, he's dead as well. He's not alive,
right?
And
but the one who was sick was the one you were trying to marry me off to.
I was trying to marry him off. Yeah, he's dead. I was trying to marry you off to him, but I was trying to. So yeah, I was trying to plant rumors that he's like this powerful, virile,
strapping young
Greymark, but he's not. He's like first sign of pneumonia and he's gone. So yeah,
he's also dead, and is now replaced by Yogg.
Right, because I tried to. We tried to use that's the ritual that happened to Pine Shredder. I tried to create a ginger blood boy ritual to glamour Pine Shredder to look like my ideal Jurgen, but then Yogg came instead, so it was a mess.
Right. So and also for Pat, just information, Auntie Greybone actually sacrificed all of the other young Greymarks of marriageable age, which is the suspicious thing.
Right.
And so it's up to you how much you found out. But remember that Loic is really happy with what you reported. So
yeah, I think I found out not exactly that they were sacrificed, but like they're pretty much nowhere.
Yeah, there's something shady, but we don't know what it is.
Well, because they were supposed to be on this like great holy mission, and they never returned. So yeah,
but like it's not only that, but it's like disturbing because like it's not an issue at the house, from what Finnick found out. Like it's
no one's even talking about it.
No.
Oh, nobles. God, I hate them.
Okay.
They pay well.
So in finding this out, you must have had to cross swords or whatever weapon of choice you have with some gray marks. Anti-Greybone, you know about this, right?
I know about what specifically?
Oh, that there's been someone snooping around.
Oh yes. Well, and also I'm principally concerned with the fact that part of the reason why this sort of rebellion against the church is happening is because the rumors are starting to spread that like maybe the church has been doing this like kind of ritual sacrifice stuff, and maybe House Greymark is not so maybe the disappearance of those kids was not so noble as we have been led to believe. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you have a couple threats to the Greymark house's position. What steps are you taking right now?
My plan is I wanted to call a meeting with the leaders of the populist revolt. And I want to try to convince them that House Greymark was duped, that we didn't know the church was going to hurt our younglings. So yeah.
Excellent.
And gosh darn it, we need to tear them down, drag them out of their cloisters, and do whatever. So yeah.
Okay. So you know that the man who nailed the 90x
90x theses.
his name is Manware.
Right. Yeah, if I can have a meeting with Manware, I will. So
I think you can probably set it up pretty easily. I mean, he doesn't really trust you because you are also.
Well, I think the way I'd like for this to be, the way I want to sell this is like, so maybe we meet in some kind of neutral territory or something. Like, there's no way in hell I'm going inside the city walls, but like maybe we meet like just outside the city or something, right? At a hunting lodge or something. And the way I'm presenting this is a bunch of like gray marks, like, strapping noble gray mark men are going to be there. And I'm just like the frail old woman, and like who saw something she wasn't supposed to see, right? And so I think like the meeting is called, they're all there, they're all sitting around this table because they want to hear, and then someone says, oh, Auntie Greybone, she almost didn't survive the trip, right? And they kind of bring me in. I'm like being held by both arms, like carefully, like being like helped in, and my hood is back, and like and I have a flower in my hair, and I sit down and I see Manware and I say, oh gosh, these are really, really dark and dreadful times we live in, aren't they?
So first of all, those people that are supporting you when you come in, do you feel them shaking?
I think
they all saw you set your dog on your nephew,
I think
right?
so. They're all like, I mean, they all know that like I am not to be trifled with within House Greymark, but I'm hoping that I can dupe Manware. So
yeah, he's sitting back and kind of just like looking at you. Indeed, they are.
Well, I don't know how much you've heard about what happened to my poor benighted house, but I feel like it's time for the truth to come out.
Speak, old lady.
The church, the faith of what are they called? The Dawn or something? The faith of the
Church of the Radiant Dawn?
Yes, the Church of the Radiant Dawn. They were told they needed 20 healthy young members of my house to go on a sacred mission. And we provided them because we have always ever been loyal to the church. And well, I was there because, well, I well, I had to make sure that if there was, I was going to go. They were going to put me in a cart in case any, during the mission, if any cloaks needed mending. And I went, and I was terrified. I can barely. It's too difficult. It's too difficult to recall. And I just began crying. I began weeping.
Yeah, I think like one of the people who was holding you like rushes forward and like holds a handkerchief to you with like shaking hands.
I'm like, oh, thank you, darling. Thank you.
And you see her like just shiver a little when you say darling.
They killed them. They killed them all. They killed them all. They murdered them. They spilled them. They all one. And I tried my hardest to stop them, but my lungs were not powerful enough. It was like yelling into a windstorm. Their religious fervor was too strong. They could not be moved. I barely managed to escape with my life. I am glad that someone is finally standing up to their evil, to the evil of Arwen. Arwen, what's her name? Akira. She has to be stopped. She's filled with terrible vengeance and darkness and I don't know. I'm happy that the people are finally starting to see the truth of it. So that's my play.
And he says, I've always known that the church is full of lies and deceit. But this is... Did you ever recover the bodies?
No. We were not able to give them a proper burial. And I collapse like I'm hanging in their arms at that, right?
And so what do you want him to do? I think he actually asked that. He just looks at you and it's like, what would you like me to do?
And I look up and I fix him with my milky eye and I say, I demand only that Akira and her compatriots in the upper echelons of the church, that they be held to account, that justice be served.
Okay, roll persuade with leverage.
Right, that's sly, right?
No, I think it's wily.
Okay, I think it's the same for me anyway, but I got a 9 on the dice. Let me check my stat. I got a 10.
Oh, right. I forgot for us to do the highlighting of the stats. I'm so bad at this part of the game. Great. Let's just keep the highlighted stuff as they are. Hold on. Okay. So you got a 10?
Mm-hmm.
Great. I mean, yeah, I think you've convinced him with your frail stature and your tears. He reaches out a calloused hand and like places it on your shoulder. Says, "Fear not, lady of the gray marks." And there's like a moment of awkwardness where he's like, I don't actually know who this lady is.
Yeah.
It's like, justice will be served.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Then he like waves to like dismiss you.
Good. So now I got that problem off my back.
Okay. Pine Strider. Is that still your name?
I guess so.
Well, you wake up, and you're in what used to be Yorn's room, because I believe, or was it in your like special office chamber, Antigarbone, where you did the?
I would say I have my own quarters with the servants.
Well, what I mean is no. So that part when you were doing the spell,
Mm-hmm.
where was it in? Was it in Yorn's room, or was it in like your creepy magic
I think
room?
it was on Auntie's laboratory ritual
Yeah.
place. Jason,
Yeah,
you
Jason.
confirm?
Yeah, it was just like a basement.
So you are still there. When you wake up, the first thing that you see is that the whole place seems to be grown over with branches. And then when you try to turn, you realize that you can't. And there's something on your head that is fixing you in place. And your eyes, like when they actually focus, you realize that what these branches, they seem to look like antlers. And then if you reach up, you can feel that there's two things attached to your forehead. Let's say there's a mirror in the room. And if you like just glance without turning your head, you see that these antler branches, there's two of them attached to your head. And you're kind of like suspended, actually.
Well, that's new. I guess we found out what happened to the reindeer. Hey, Auntie, someone. Do I find my voice?
No, you do not. I think, but you hear a voice that's not the same as what you encounter in the spirit plane. Another one, a very deep one, and when you hear it, you feel like shivers like, in the back of your neck. No one has been here in a while.
I suppose they forgot me. Typical nobles.
I wouldn't say that. They're biding their chance to come and worship us.
Us?
Us. And then you can see the branch antlers. They start. It's like this really gross sound. Like it's like. Well, it kind of sounds like when flesh slash cartilage is like crushed, continuously crushed, and then you see the antlers like slowly move, and you feel it like pressing into your head, and then they're like moving and moving, and then they're basically coming back and getting smaller and smaller until you see in this plot convenient mirror that they are just this almost, they look like a crown above you. So it's still very big, but you can now move.
So I guess I do a pat down to see if anything else changed by this, let's say, transubstantiation that I seem to have.
You also don't look like yourself. You look like this like virile man in the mirror.
Huh. I guess Auntie put a bit too much of what she desires on me, as usual. She seems to treat everyone else's projection of her wills and desires.
Did you want to reach the situation or no?
I guess so. So I have a 10. So
Right. Ask your questions.
who is actually pulling the strings here?
It is very clearly this other voice, and you're a smart person. You can make the mental connection that this is Yogg. They're the ones in charge of this body. Like, you can't even speak out loud. You're communicating in your head with them.
Who or where is my enemy, really?
Who's your enemy? That's my question for you. Who is your enemy?
Well, the thing is Yogg my enemy? Is someone that is somehow opposing Yogg's plans? And now I realize that I cannot separate myself from this entity now. So whoever desires ill to them desires will to me, or I'm seeking revenge against Auntie. Weirdly enough, I think the last one does not apply. So it's either if Yogg really is actually my enemy, or there's someone that wants to stop Yogg somehow.
So whether Yogg is your enemy or not is dependent on how willing you are to bend to Yogg's will. Let's see. I'll give you some extra info since whatever. Yogg hasn't been able to move all this time. They've been stuck hanging there in this body. They can shift things to their will, but they physically couldn't move. But that is very upsetting. And when your soul came back, they suddenly now have control over this body. And they don't really care what you want, but what they are going to do is go and, wreak some havoc. So if you want to go along with it, then Yogg is not your enemy.
Okay, so considering that state, then where is my best escape route? Way in, way pass. So basically how me and Yogg can get away from being stuck here.
You're not stuck anymore. So once your soul came back, now Yogg is fully mobile. They can go wherever they want, and you will have to go with him.
So I guess, are we happy to just waiting to be worshipped? That does not sound very fun. No, I mean a pine is talking with Yogg.
Oh, I'm not sure what you mean by the word waiting. And then you can you feel your body moving, but it's not of your will. And I guess your body, this man that you're in, goes and he opens the door and he just walks out fully naked. Every step he takes, there's a little bit of some black liquid seeping into the floorboards. I guess it's not floorboard, it's a keep. Seeping into the straw that they've laid on the ground. And then one, you're assuming a servant, you recognize their livery, it's going by with some laundry and then sees you and like screams, and there's like and like scurries away.
See, that's the problem. While that keeps happening, we're gonna be waiting or hunted down. I think we should get things right to the way they should be, don't you think?
He's still walking, but he doesn't seem to be not listening.
I mean, we have false churches, petty noble houses, kings, all pointless stuff. I mean, we are power itself. We are what reality is made of. Everything else is just puppets to us. Why don't we just end up the travesty and establish ourselves as the supreme overruler of creation that we are? Down with these kings and churches and petty nobles. It's just Yogg reclaim Yogg's world.
Foolish mortal. You think this is my world.
Well, it can be.
You think the church is false?
Well, I know they are false. Even when they serve you, they lie. I mean, they don't give everything that they should give to you. They always keep some to themselves. Well, most to themselves. Why don't just cut the middleman?
What do you want? And
Well,
you've both walked to the end of this hallway, this really long hallway, and it's like there's a door closed, and you see your hand like reaching for the door, and then it just like rips from its hinges, and you hear like screaming behind, and then he keeps walking in, and you see like it's probably like the kitchen area, which is also where people sometimes do laundry. And there's like over this spit, there's like a plucked chicken, and then there's like a lot of feathers everywhere, and then there's people like stumble back and like staring at you.
I have to say, I always look at through opportunities, and honestly, I'm just fascinated by this one. I mean, I'm just the lowest of the low, and I was nothing in the previous world, so I saw things on a way that it's completely alien to how you, from the position of absolute power, see. And at the same time, we are so unlike each other, and now we have these two perspectives merged together. I think, again, we can set things right in a way that there was never possible before. We can know what to change, we can know what to fix, and soon you'll not even need the travesty of petty worship. You'll just be forever.
I think he sounds a little bit impatient this time. Speak, mortal. What do you wish?
I wish to change the world. I don't want to see winter anymore. Now that I know that there are true powers that can walk this earth, I want to see the very land itself reshapen into something proper, like this mess.
So I think you are changing your playbook then, are you? Or are you not?
I don't know. I guess I can be a voice, quite literally. Other than that, I cannot picture.
It sounds like if you want to do more magic, you can be the beloved.
It's true because we don't have a beloved here now.
Not anymore. Nope.
Yep. Yeah, I guess the beloved also makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can also.
I think while you're considering this, there's like you see in your mind, it's like you're hovering above this whole area like a bird. In fact, you think you are actually in like the eyes of a bird right now because you suddenly like change directions and then go somewhere else really fast. But you still see like all of the buildings, and they seem so small from up here. Where would you like to see in flames, mortal?
I think I focus in the city of Azatira. I want to see all the lights turn down so that from the fire our branches can stretch anew.
So what you want is for Yogg to set fire to everything.
I want to bring down the church and the nobles and or will be king.
Okay. That's asking a lot. I think
I've got that. Don't worry.
I think to even roll to persuade, you would have to choose something more specific.
I want the people to know the beauty that I've seen on the other side. I want the people to know your truth and be loved by Yogg as I came to love it.
I don't need love. I need fear.
But the people need it.
What do you... Say what you want to see manifest, and I will do it. If you provide the right offering in return.
I want to see the willow crossing between that world and into this world as a bridge between our reality, an obvious sign of our covenant of fear made manifest.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I think you are doing the beloved stuff now because it sounds like harnessing the unspeakable power. Yeah. Together. Why don't you roll with arcane?
Six.
So, in all of this negotiation, what are you the most afraid of losing?
My identity. Because I'm already holding to it like my strings, and I'm kind of too much in awe to everything and to this real truth about the universe that I've witnessed. And I'm kind of so stunned and drunk in the revelation. I mean, that I want to bring it to everyone. I want everyone to see that a part of me hopes, well, am I still myself? Am I losing myself too much on this eagerness?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I'm most fearful is to lose the last things that are still Pine Strider.
Great. Yeah, when you were like kind of like hovering above the city all this time. In the blink of an eye, you are now in the temple. In this body, Yog's body, your body. It's hard to tell. And in front of you is Benedict. Benedict the Grey. Okay. Let's take a 5-minute break, and then we can figure out what more things we want to do. I guess a lot of people already have something in mind, but think of something anyway. We'll be back at 5 after. Oh, hey Ludo. Yeah, sorry that I kind of.
And I'm
You
sorry,
did.
I felt like I was like, yeah, this is very weird. I
Yeah,
have a
no.
question. Changing to the beloved, how that works? Do I just?
You can. Yeah, you can reassign your stats. And you can like reassign your moves, but leave like the entanglements and stuff. 'Cause-
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Let's go to Loic.
So I've got two things I want to do, and I want to do them almost simultaneously here. They're
Okay.
sort of two parallel things. The first thing I'm doing is I'm going to my faction, as I am wont to do, and essentially I'm going to the people who are in my inner circle, and I'm saying, I need you to go and round up all of the people in the church hierarchy who are beholden to us the most and who are most sympathetic to us, and get them to someplace safe. And that's going to be sort of my call on faction move. And then I have another thing I want to do immediately after that.
Okay. Yeah. While you do this, a servant question mark also comes up to you. Actually, no, it's not a servant. It's a what's her name? Galena. Yeah, Galena.
Mm-hmm.
She comes up to you and she says, "The preparations for your the coronation ceremony, it's done, and the date was supposed to be today."
I go, we're putting that off. We've got another kind of celebration we're doing today.
Oh, okay.
Get the troops ready.
Okay. And she looks annoyed. And then she when she walks away, you hear her mutter like, "No, it's not just your money, it's our money." You can make the move to faction. How much honor are you spending?
I am spending 2 of my 4 honor on this.
Great.
I'm going to roll these orange dice. Box fucking cars. 14.
Wow. All right. I mean, So, do you want it to be known that you're rounding?
Oh,
I
no,
mean, that
I want
you're.
this to be done fairly quietly. We don't need that many, just a handful. If it includes Matt's character, that's fine. If not, too bad. Eggs, omelets.
Yeah. Let's see. Call on your faction. Activated. Okay. What was the benefit that you're activating again?
Essentially, what I want is them to get these
Power.
people to safety. Yeah.
Because, when you roll, you activate one of your faction benefits, and I'm just looking at which one it is. So it's powers. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do it, and it's like these people just disappeared in the night.
Absolutely. Okay.
And Vivia is not amongst them.
Oh, that is unfortunate for her.
Okay. What's the other thing that you're doing?
Well, I'm going to get all the troops and we're going to storm the church and we're going to kill all the clergy.
Okay.
Essentially, I'm going to make a big show of this, that I've put the coronation aside, that I've heard the words of the people. I keep Akira back because I'm going to use her as a chip later.
Mm-hmm.
But then I am going to storm the church and confiscate their goods in the name of the people.
Right.
Selfless as I am, giving up my coronation to do this thing.
Did you roll Heavy's the Head at the beginning of the session?
No, I did not. Would you like me to roll that?
Please.
I will gladly do that. So beginning the session, I roll with Fierce, which is I believe a 2 for me. Yes, it is. Okay. So that's an 11.
So you get the surplus. What is your surplus again?
My surplus is, let me look down here under Loic, +3 barter and industrious. So
Okay.
I spent at least 2 so far, so that'll be backed up to 5 then.
Interesting. How are you telling people that, like, how are you announcing to people, first of all, that you're ditching your coronation and the reason why, and
We've
what
got
you're
all the troops assembled for the coronation. I come down and I say, we have heard the will of the people. Follow me. And
So-
we're going. And I'm
So
going to
do you-
lead the troops.
you try to convince the people, or do you not? Because
No.
right now it's not the troops. No.
No, I'm not worried about convincing the people yet. I'm going to do it as a fait accompli, and then I'll worry about, mopping up the blood later.
Okay.
Essentially, I'm just going to do a military action against the church.
I don't think you encounter a lot of resistance on the way, because like people have just recently seen like the power and the bloodthirstiness, I guess, of your troops.
They're well trained, but they are savage.
Yeah. You get to the church. You get to the church
Okay.
temple. Okay.
Rude barbarians.
Let's see where everyone else is at for now.
Okay.
Finnick. You had some tasks, eh?
Yeah, I had to find somebody. Vivia, I think was her name or his name.
No. It was Bahava.
Bahaba.
Yeah. You've heard that she's been captured, but I don't know if you heard by whom.
No, I'm going on nothing. So I imagine I'm going around trying to find out, like, even who is Vahaba.
Yeah. So are you like walking through the streets?
Yeah,
Chatting people up?
pretty much. Yeah, I'm just like trying to make like small talk with most people, like, figuring out like, well, what happened at the church here? Why do some things look like they've been torn to pieces, and just trying to figure out like what's going on around here before I press them about who Vahaba is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you can study a sitch.
Okay.
Which is with Sly? Sly, yes.
Sly is 1. That's a 4.
Okay. You can ask one of the questions anyway.
All right. Get down to the questions. And this is study a situation, right? Who or what here would be a useful opportunity for me in order for me to complete my job?
So I think even when you were chatting with people, like, if you just even say the word Bahava, there's this look of fear that like crosses their face. Like everyone knows who Bahava is. And then if you were to ask like, oh, what does she look like or anything like that, they very clearly like shy away and are like, oh, I don't know. Did you want this bread? Or if not, I have other people to sell it to. And There's only one person where when you say that, they just kind of smile and they're like, "Oh yes."
And who is this person?
He's the, let me see descriptions. He looks like a pretty nondescript man, actually. He has a very friendly smile, and like a very calm vibe about him.
So he's almost like me. Yeah, I think I'd like to like perhaps press him on it.
Did you have business with her?
Yes, I do. And perhaps we could do business as well.
Please.
I just need to know where her current whereabouts are. Somebody that really cares for her has asked me to seek her out.
And what are you offering exactly?
Yeah. Just a small cut of what I am to be paid for finding her.
And will you offer some of that as a token of trust?
Sure. Although I don't have much at the moment. But I am promised payment.
How much do you give him?
Well, I only have one barter. So
Okay.
I'll give
I
him
gave you
my
one
one
as well.
barter.
I gave you one.
Oh, you did give me one?
Yeah.
So now you have two barter.
I'll give him half of what what I got. So if I have two barter, I'll give him one of them.
Okay. He takes it. I see you are a trustworthy person. And walks ahead. Do you follow him?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So you like go around a lot of winding streets, and it's like it's very hard to remember, even though you usually have a very good memory and you're a very cautious person. So you can usually remember like paths and stuff like that, especially like escape routes. But this time it's just a little. Maybe you're also distracted, maybe by like all the changing situations within this hold. Um, he arrives at this like nondescript place. It's just like seemingly a lot of kind of poorish people live. He opens the door. He's like, please take off your shoes. And it looks like it's his house, and it's very fastidiously neat.
I lift up my my cloak to show that I've never been wearing shoes.
He glances down, and there's like a look of disgust.
Mm-hmm.
This very well. And then he opens another like side door, and it says, "Through here." And when you walk through, he closes it after you.
Is this an
And
empty room?
Oh, well, okay. So he closes it after you, and you hear the sound of like a lock falling into place. And it looks like, I feel like you must have encountered this situation before. It is very clearly a torture room. And Bahava's there. And so are you.
Mm-hmm. I say, well, you didn't lie to me. Appreciate the honesty.
You hear him chuckle. Oh, I never lie. And then you hear footsteps like he's walking away. Let's go to Lady Greybone. So that was your hard move.
So I have an idea for a scene that's basically like a little addendum in my seat. So Manweir, I think like after our meeting, Manweir and his compatriots are getting their horses ready to go back to the city, and I like am carefully creeping through the brush and trying to get his attention. Like, come here, come here.
To Manweir?
To Manweir, yeah.
Okay.
And it's just me.
I guess. Yeah, he notices you.
Yeah.
And like motions for his followers to like stay, and then like comes forward. But I think except for one person, like there's another person following him as well.
Sure. I say, sir, there is one part of the tale I did not want to speak in front of my kin. I did not want them to be aroused to foolish action. Men are so often destroyed upon the rocks of their desire for vengeance. But as I cried out to the priests to stop murdering my grandchildren and nieces and nephews, Akira turned to me and said, "No, we must, because the soul dove demands it." I believe the soul dove rose to power through some terrible dark magic, and I don't know what to do about it. Is there anything any of us can do about it? And I truly fear what will happen, what she will do once the truth gets out.
Yeah, I mean, roll persuade.
Assuming they re-rolled, I might just try it again because it rolled the exact same numbers. This one didn't go as well. It's a 6.
How does this work? When you say soul dove, when you said soul dove, you see him like narrow his eyes a little. And I mean, to get to this point of power, you didn't just rely on the dark powers of Yogg. You also are very good at reading people. And you know that he didn't believe you. But he says, "Thank you for telling me. Revenge will be wrought."
And I smile and say, "Well, I hope, however this turns out, you and I, our house, I hope that we will ever be friends."
He continues to like look at you in that way where he's like, And he walks away. You hear in the back of your head, like in your mind, ever so industrious.
Does Yogg say that? Is that Yogg?
Mm-hmm.
And I just speak aloud because there's no one around. Because I'm just like in the tree line or whatever. And I say, "Who can fault me for wanting to kill two birds with one stone?"
Your reach is far. You have asked a lot of me. I think it's time that you do something as well. For me.
And ignore the fact that Yogg is the one who wants their blood to flow, wants the blood of the priests to flow, and that I orchestrated it. I don't bring that up, though. I instead say, what would you have me do? Oh, Yogg.
And you can tell, even though his voice doesn't really change, you can tell that he's pleased. I think it's time for you to bloody your hands.
To wreathe my hands in blood.
At the temple. And his presence disappears in your mind. Speaking of the temple, Loic, you get there, and actually, no, sorry, not Loic. Pine Strider. Benedict the Grey is there in front of you. And when he sees you, he kind of stumbles back. Who are you? And what business do you have with the temple?
Can I speak? Or
You can
Yogg is
try.
still okay? So I try.
You can try. Yeah.
Okay,
What do you say?
So I try to speak, and Pine is having this moment in. Again, she's still too overwhelmed. She's losing her identity. It takes her a while to even recognize Benedict. And when she finally pieces it together, she's like, no, Benedict, please don't do anything. Benedict, it's me, Pine. She tries to speak, and
Yeah.
her mind is dreading, what will Yogg do to Benedict?
Yeah. Great. Roll face duress.
Six.
Okay. So I think you do get to say that. But you see him stumble back even further. And I think he like bumps his head against like the foot of a statue, one of the, I don't know, the gods or goddesses that are like the eye statues that are in the courtyard hallway. And he and then falls down and is like, stay away from me. Stay away from me, you monster. And then you hear Yogg chuckling. Did you not say you wanted it in flames? And then you see Benedict's like left pant leg catch on fire. And he's like screaming and like trying to like put it out. See them dance. See them dance in fear.
Pine is pretty disconcerted by this. Is this the only trick we have?
Is that what you say?
Mm-hmm. To Yogg. Not verbally.
And he just laughs. And he like walks closer to Benedict.
He's precious to me, you know that. But he's even more precious to your most devout follower.
And who is that?
Auntie.
All of you. Always so insubordinate. I suppose I shall have to test her too.
Shall I be the tool of her test? That would be interesting for both of us. Don't you agree?
You see your hand or his hand kind of reach forward, and what does it look like? I think it's there's oh yeah. So the ice from one of the statues, it kind of like stretches down, and then like you can see the statue like losing its shape and stuff until it reaches Benedict, and then it wraps around I guess the top part of his thigh, and then it kind of like spikes out, so that and it's like forming what looks like it's like the guards of like swords is almost what you think of, and it like lifts his leg off of the ground a little, and the fire is still going. But this time, Benedict, he can't reach it anymore because the spikes are like just ever growing. And you hear Yogg say, "Very well, I will leave him alive."
I'm sure Auntie will be grateful. Maybe.
And so shall you. Now, and he turns around, and you can't see Benedict anymore. And you both start walking towards the front of the temple. So this is just a GM thing. I think you can actually try to wrestle Yogg for control of this body, or else I feel like you don't get any agency, and that's not fun. So you can definitely try to do that either through magic or otherwise. Just a thing. Loic, you get here, and standing at the gate of the temple of the Church of the Rising Dawn, Radiant Dawn, sorry, is this like giant virile man with like this crown of antlers above his head, naked also, but no one seems to care so far.
Well, that pretty much should freak the troops out and hopefully make them go, oh gosh, looks like Loic was right, because there's all kinds of freaky shit going on down at the temple.
I mean, they do freak out, but yeah. they're also just like, what is, like, I don't know if they're necessarily convinced, but they're like definitely like, what is happening?
Well, I've thought about this here for a few seconds, and I think I've come up with a plan. And I think that Loic deals with the situation and is actually probably relieved that there is a visible, singular thing that stands for the sort of the awfulness of the church. And I will draw a blade and approach this thing. I'm like, it's just a thing. I can surely deal with it. There's going to be no problem. And I am going to move up to cut it down.
Okay. I mean, go for it. So, Pine Strider, you see Loic come up and draw her sword, and you hear Yogg chuckling again. And then suddenly you can like feel your fingers moving, and then you realize that you now have control of this body.
Okay, so as I have control with the fingers, I realize that I have a single moment that I might not have ever again. So I grab my fingers and I stick them in Yogg's chest and I start to rip it open. And then I will myself into the viscera as it falls, and I try to separate my conscience from this mad god.
Great.
As I'm doing that, I scream, "You only know fear and you only know distraction, Yogg. I will be your complement. I will show you that you are capable of creation and love. Look at me and know me."
Great. Oh, good. Oh, how do I get Finnick here? Okay. And Antigravon, this is also when you show up, you see you see Yogg in physical form yelling some kind of nonsense and digging his fingers into his own flesh,
And yeah. I mean, I assume I see Loic and I think we're all just like kind of there. Is that the idea?
Yeah. Let's leave you in that tableau. Okay, Finnick. You're trapped here. Bahava, you see someone, a woman, and you assume it's Bahava. Wait. Actually, there's two people there. One person is dead. They had their legs cut off, and you assume they probably bled out from that. And then another person is the woman. So it's a man and woman. She's like shackled to the wall, and doesn't seem to be responding or anything to any of this noise that just happened. Her head is like facing down.
Yeah, she's like, her head's like slumped down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not bound or anything, so
No.
I walk over to her and like move her head up so I can like look. And I'm just like, excuse me.
Yeah, when you like move her head, or even when you look, you see there's there's a lot of blood in general.
Mm-hmm.
This room, there's that stench of death and the metallic tang of metal in the air. And there's obviously blood on her, but when you actually look at her face, you can see that she's missing both of her eyes, and that but then it's all crusted with blood.
Are you Bahaba? Can you hear me?
You hear like very, very shallow breathing, but she doesn't respond.
And the person that locked me in there just like walked off, right?
Yeah, he's gone.
Is there like a basement window in here or anything like that?
It's a torture room.
It's a torture room.
It's not a basement apartment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's totally sealed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go bang on the door they locked.
I mean, you still they didn't take any of your weapons or your tools away from you.
Right.
Or he did.
I'm gonna bang on the door because they locked me in, so I can't get out. So I'm gonna bang on the door until somebody comes and tries to make me stop.
Nobody. You get the impression that the person actually may have left.
Mm-hmm. And is there
like their place?
Is the door like? I mean, is it barred from the outside? Right.
Would you like to study the situation?
Yeah, might as well. I'm locked in a room with a legless person and an eyeless, unconscious person. So,
I mean, the legless person is a corpse. They're dead.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and study situation. Let's
Go for
see. Sly. Hopefully it goes better than the last one. Yeah, I got a 9.
Nice. Okay, you can ask 2 questions.
Well, the obvious one is, what is my best escape route? And what am I missing?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I just looked at your stats and this would be so terrible. Okay, you see, so there's like a table with like torture implements on there. Very clean, actually. It's like the only place in this whole room that is not like, like with that rusty dried blood color. And you see a jar on there. It has one eye suspended in liquid in there. And you know from your extensive spying travels that an eye is almost the perfect ingredient in magic. The door was really, really thick. There's no way that you, with what you have available, which are torture implements, could actually break through the door unless you want to be trapped there for a very long time. What you need to do, or if you want to get there before you like die of thirst, is you need to use magic.
I despise magic.
What you're missing, I think what you're missing is that you expected this person who like took Bahava to like do something with you, but they're actually like, I think maybe you remembered one of the rumors that you've been hearing, which is there's this person, I think their name was Gregory or something. Gregor. You've heard of this person called Gregor Grandfather Antlers Macaro, and they have the nickname Grandfather Antlers because they people are comparing them to Yogg, Yogg of the Antlers, because he seems to just do things on a whim and does not care about the consequences. So you can't wait for him to come back. He's probably it amused him that you followed him here and that he could trap you in this room. And he doesn't need to keep torturing people.
Yeah, I guess I'll grab the eyeball. And walk over to the lady that's shackled to the wall.
You can break her from the shackles if you want to do that.
Yeah, and I'll take her down in a second once I know I can get the door open. I get some of her blood and mix it with some of the dried blood flakes from the legless corpse.
Uh-huh.
I take a deep breath and I'm like, I hate this. I don't want to do this. And I hold the eyeball and all that blood in my hand, dripping. And I whisper into it and squeeze it to mix it all together into a viscous fluid that drips on the floor above the door or in front of the door.
So you're whispering into the unspeakable power, right? Great.
Probably poorly.
I think because you took the eyeball and I said that it's great, I will give you a +1 for the eyeball.
All right. Still rolling in a -1 though. So let's see how it goes. It's a 3.
Ah, yes. That's what I wanted. Um, let's see. Huh. And you didn't take Bahava with you, right? You went to the door?
I went to the door. Yeah, she's still shackled.
Great. You see a brilliant light that almost feels like it's like burning your retinas, and then you see darkness. Okay, now back to our tableau. Okay, so Loic went. You acted first. Let's see what you are doing.
I am putting the sharp end in the thing standing in front of me. I am going
Great.
to. I'm like, starts tearing open its stomach. I'm like, that's always a precursor to bad stuff happening. Like this is all kinds of ritual, dark stuff that I don't get. I don't get that. So what I use is my sword, and I try to make that stop.
Okay. And I think Ludo, this like you can definitely interfere with this role if you want. For this person to strike you.
Actually, I think this actually might be helpful because I'm trying to somehow get away. The more yog pieces there are more material I can use to screw myself away from it. So I can actually,
that's true.
if anything, I'm going to help.
Great. Okay, roll. Roll plus fierce. I think this is engage in combat.
Absolutely. So I'm going to roll with fierce. That will give me my 5th XP, actually.
Oh, nice. Right. Yeah. XP is a thing. Keep forgetting.
So that will be a 9. But if Ludo helps, then we could get it to a fine 10.
How does helping work? Let me
help or interfere.
Yeah, help or interfere within a PC. You roll plus whatever stat is appropriate. Oh. Okay. Do you want to do that, Ludo?
Yeah. What do I roll for this?
So you roll plus whatever stat is appropriate. So how are you helping, first of all?
So as I'm trying to do my own shredding to kind of try to piece parts of myself away from Yog, I try to, as I see Loic going to stab, at the same time I have control over my of Yog's hands and I'm shredding myself. I also try to force my knees to bend so that Yog ends up in a position which is easier to just plant the sword.
Great. I think that is... Is that steady? I think it might be steady. Because it's pretty painful. Let's be honest.
Okay, I got a 9 somehow.
Great. So on a hit, they get +1. Helping, great. Because you want to help, right? Okay, so Loic, you got a 10 on engage in combat.
I want to do this aggressively. I've got armor on. I'm willing to take the hit. I'm going to do this aggressively for additional harm. And I want to be impressive and dominant to make a show for the people behind me. And I do want to stipulate that I have no idea that Auntie is there whatsoever because I am well focused on this. I'm going to do this. Cutting things down. It's what I do best, and I do this, and I'm very happy and proud of myself as I'm cutting into this thing.
Excellent. What does it look like?
I think I've got the big bastard sword. I pull that out and I slash, bring it back and slash, and then I pull back for the third and I cut at least one of those antlers. And I'm saying, We need to cleanse the church of the contagion. Badly, because I'm not really an orator.
Great.
There's sickness. The church is sick. We gotta clean it up.
Great.
Trouble in River City. Come on.
Great. Okay. Yeah. You definitely cut into this dude, who you still don't know who he is.
Big naked guy in front of the church with horns. That's never good, especially when they start tearing their own chest open. So
that's true. Okay, so anti-Greybone, you see Yog, or the physical manifestation of Yog, get, first of all, like, start digging into their own chest,
Right.
and then like flinging their hands aside, just like kind of like, yeah, hit me, bro, and like getting hit, and then like even getting one of their antlers chopped off, and like stumbling back a little. And if you look to the side, you can also see that the people that are following Loic are like, yeah, clean the church. It's so sick.
I was not expecting this to be the case when I got here today. Didn't know exactly what was happening, but I am nothing if not an opportunist, and I step forward up to the steps, running with blood. Is this creature dead? Like, or
No.
no?
It
Good. That's
very
perfect.
bruised.
But it's like injured. It looks injured, right?
Yeah. It's like, it's also bleeding from like the stump of one of its antlers. Its antlers are filled with blood vessels.
I step.
Be careful, old crone.
I say, I have peered into the veil. I have looked deep beyond the inky blackness, across the widest seas, and I have seen this moment. You truly are meant to be our queen, Loic Soul Dove. You are a woman of prophecy. By destroying this evil, you clean the rot, and you complete the courtship required of our gods. And I look at the antlered creature, and I take your hand, I take your sword hand, and very gently like hold it. And
Oh,
say,
yes, grandmother.
I say, House Greymark stands with you, Loic Soul Dove. Cleanse the land. Like, push your sword toward the creature.
Okay.
Speaking of which, so Pine Strider, you're trying to rip your soul away from Yog's body. Yeah, that's some magic.
Okay, so let's do some arcane stuff.
Yeah. Harness that unspeakable power.
13.
Nice. Okay, let's see. What do you want? What specifically? Like, physically, how do you want it?
I want to get my own body, and I still preserve this connection with Yog, but I am still myself. Or at least some version of myself.
Do you look like Jurgen? Can you please look like Jurgen as was originally intended with that ritual? That would be amazing.
Okay, so what happens? Oh my gosh. Okay, this is harness unspeakable power is like minor but tangible way.
I mean, this is not minor.
Whatever. Who cares? This is a final session.
It's all relative.
So, sure. Okay, so what happens is you. So like when Loic was striking at you, you were like yes, and then like kind of like bending down so that you can like hit you she can hit you properly. You
break it up.
Oh, am I still here? Am I good?
We can hear you now.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So like you were like letting Loic hit you, but now you reach back into the wounds, the very deep wounds that are on your chest, your torso, I suppose. And I think when you reach in, you find your pulsing heart, and you this game, you tear it out, and like as you look at it, you hear this roar of anger, and I don't think you see this, but Finnick, when you open your eyes, you are so one of the statues in this entrance area is a woman holding her hands out in supplication. You appear in her arms, and you see the first thing you see is this like giant virile man holding a heart, and the heart, it's like there's like blood kind of flows out of it, like blood vessels, like they branch out from there, and then it like grows. It's pretty fast, and it just like it's like amazing CGI going on, and it like forms the pattern of like the vessels going out into a person's body, and then flesh just kind of like starts like to collect on it, and all of this is like with like really gross fleshy sounds, and finally it's like, and then like that heart like and the flesh around it like pulls away from the hand of this giant man with like a plop, and it looks like Yorin. It's not Jurgen. Jurgen is the nephew. It looks like Yorin, but like, and still kind of like thin and like maybe a little pale, but definitely not sickly.
Oh, that's right. This is Yorin. That's right. This is the one that I was originally trying to marry off to Loic. Right. Who sees this? Do we all see this?
Everyone sees this. I just described it from Finnick's perspective, up on this like great vantage point. I
whisper to Loic. I say, I realize it's not a traditional courtship, but we are here, ready to solidify our pact.
So like two naked men now in front of this temple, one of them with giant cut and like just like blood seeping out of his chest. I mean, everyone's seen this. He's missing a heart, but he's standing there and looking furious. I mean, Pine Strider, I mean, it's hard for you to like understand what just happened. It's like you can feel like your consciousness like going to the heart, and you like it's really blurry what just happened, but now you're seeing through the eyes of someone else. You don't know who that person is, and you are looking at everyone, and Auntie Greybone's there.
So as I'm listening to the courtship, my opportunist instincts playing in, I will now once again I go full bold and what I know, and I stumble a bit, bow before Loic, and with the most passionate voice I can muster, I say, "My lady, my queen, you have released me by the evil that tainted our land, you have saved me as you have saved us all before. Please, make me worthy of your hand.
I think all of the soldiers behind you, like, are like, and their hands are kind of like lowering, also because they've been holding it up for a while with swords. And they're like, are we?
They are no more confused than I am. And I'm like, wait. I turn to her, to the crone, and I say, wait, you're from Greybone.
Greymark.
Is that what? Oh, yeah. Okay. I would like a
This is such
leverage
a ta-da
somewhere.
moment.
Yeah, I'm going to need that. Someone to roll persuade on me so I can see what that looks like.
Okay.
No.
I think it should be Lady Greybone who rolls it. Meanwhile, Finnick, like you're here, and you can feel the statue actually melting beneath you, which never happens. Everything seems to be getting a little bit warmer. You feel really sweaty.
Yeah, I'm like kind of pissed off because it's like fucking magic. God, I hate it. I'm looking around. Is that person that Gregor in the crowd of people that are?
Yeah, he is.
So
he's like on the side with like some of the people who are just gathered around to be like, oh, what's going on? Oh, and he's like looking up at you, and there's like a moment of surprise, but then it disappears. Excuse me, and he's like back with his like placid smile.
Yeah, I'm gonna climb down off this statue, if I can, without killing myself. And yeah, I'm gonna sneak up on Gregor.
Okay, I mean he's looking at you, so that would be very hard. If you want to do that, you have to roll. What is it? Study? I think is that what it's called? No, you know the one. Face duress. There we go. To even like hide from his sight.
Right. I gotta move. It's like a shadow in darkness. It says when I'm being chased, search for, or otherwise trying to just make myself scarce or unseen. I gotta roll steady.
Do it.
All right.
Okay, Lady Greybone, what did you roll?
I have not rolled yet. I didn't know if I had to like actually say something or not, but
no, you've said a lot. I think.
Okay. Fair enough. I got a 10.
Oh man. Persuasive leverage. So if it's PC on a 10 plus, yeah, if you do or say what Lady Greybone wants, you can get one advancement point. And if you refuse, you have to make a refuse an obligation, duty, or debt roll.
There's probably that moment when I realized that I've been hoisted up on my own petard and saying no at this point is going to be bad. I imagine that the move that I've taken is probably pulse of the crowd that comes from the voice, where I look back and kind of realize that I'm cornered, and I go, yes, of course, it's what I intended the entire time. Huzzah! And reach out my hand to raise up Jorgen. Well, I don't know what we call him.
Yorin?
Just Yorin. Sweet baby Yorin.
Oh, God. Someone get this man a loincloth.
Well endowed, PT Dubs, because that is like the one trait that carried over from Yogg.
Yeah, I'm kind of out of my depth at this point, and I turn to the soldiers and let's do the huzzah, everybody. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's like a priest or two like emerging from like just like kind of peeking out from like the gates and be like, huh? Is it over?
And I will grit my teeth and I will look to Auntie and go, now what?
If you allow me, my bride, perhaps as a dowry, you might give to the Black Marks oversight of the reformation of the church in something that properly serves the vision of the crown.
Yes. We would truly be honored if we were bestowed with this task.
Absolutely.
A new age, a new era.
Give up your nobility to take control of the church. Absolutely. Because you don't have any people left, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But anyway, yes, I will gritted teeth agree to this. The Reformed Church of Yogg.
Okay, and when you say that, by the way, the man who lost his heart, with the one antler, he was standing there all this time, and after you like bestowed the power of the church on the Grey Marks, he laughs, and it's like a very sandpapery sound. And for some reason, it has a really like long range, like carry. It carries really far. There we go. And when you all look at him, there's just like blood streaming down his chest and like blood streaming down his face. And like one of his eyes closed because there's blood. And as he laughs, there's like also blood starting to come out of his mouth. And it just kind of, it's almost like when he notices that you all are looking at him, then the blood starts flowing faster. And it soaks the ground. It's going at a rate where he should be dead, but he's not. He's laughing. And it's starting to sound like a gurgling sound because it's so wet. And it seeps into the veins of the marble that is paving the whole temple. This is familiar to you, Auntie Greybone. You've seen this happen before, but it's at a way faster rate, and it looks like the veinings of like blood vessels now. And it's like flowing up it's like flowing up the bases of these statues. And when it touches like these ice sculptures, they all start melting. But when they melt, it's like they're melting from the bottom, and the top like melts really quickly too. And when they melt, they turn into blood as well. Finnick, you don't see any of this. You're sneaking in the shadows.
I was trying to, but I rolled a 6.
Great. So you're trying to melt into the shadows, right? And you've done this multiple times before.
Mm-hmm.
You try to go by the temple wall, but you suddenly feel like something really wet on your back. And when you look up, it's that lady statue that caught you when you appeared from magic. And she, first of all, it looks like there's tears going down her face, her clear crystalline face, but it's blood. And then as it's flowing down, it's like everything is melting as well into blood. And then it's just like whoosh, you're covered in blood. And you feel just this like the searing pain again, like before when you did the magic, where it was burning your eyes, but now you feel it all over your body. And everyone else in the courtyard, you see Yogg laughing, gurgling, blood. And some of the people that were standing there in the courtyard who were like peeking around the priests, were trying to see if they're still going to get massacred. Because they were touching the wall, like all the statues, like they hit them first and they started screaming and like clutching at themselves.
Let's just all stay calm.
Yeah. I think Finnick is in shock right now. Just
yeah.
in
I mean,
utter
you
shock.
can't do anything at the moment because we're still hard moving you. Everyone else. Let's see. Opportunist number 1, Pine Strider. What do you do?
I turn to Auntie and say, I've seen what must be done. You must help me, Auntie, to bring life from the blood. And I try to harness the unspeakable power to connect with the willow that I saw on the other side and make the willow be born from all the blood and the Yogg corpse.
Excellent. I need to go turn on a light. So why don't you do that?
Okay, got an 8.
Okay. Louis, like, is this just too overwhelming for you? Like, what
Is there still something I can hit? Is this bleeding thing still bleeding and moving? Is it still a threat?
I mean, he's laughing.
Well, then yeah, I'm going at it with the sword. Then that's what I'm doing.
Okay, yeah, you can do that.
I'm as fruitless as that may be, it is a thing I can hit, and so I do, to demonstrate my power and control of the situation, that I am in fact in control.
Why don't you roll?
Okay, let's see. Well, here is the 4. I have rolled high all through this campaign. Watched Jason fail, watched Pat fail, and here is my first fail for the campaign in this particular moment. Oh, justice.
Guys, I swear, I have no control over roll for your party. So, sorry, my lips are really dry. What does it look like when the willow is brought over?
I'll say it looks rather nasty. It does not look like a normal willow. It pulsates as if it has veins going around it. So as its roots stretch over the body, it seems more like a cancerous growth. Then it just rips through the thorax and it starts soaking all the blood. Angry, angry, angry. As it stretch and the branch cover everywhere, and it tears down the walls and the columns, and the entire roof seems to fall a few meters, as it's apparent that it's only the willow that is sustaining the building.
Okay. So this is the last thing that's really going to happen before we epilogue. Because this game is SCUP, I can give y'all the option to describe how you die. Specifically for Loic, and then also for Finnick. But you can also choose not to have that. But I would like you to tell me now.
I think I get a tree through me in a weird alchemical marriage as the tree bursts through this Jurgen corpse. And then the branches grab me up and twist me and lift me off the ground and run through me, and I become like a hanging effigy in the middle of the church with my blood running down to anoint this thing.
Great. Finnick?
I think Finnick feels like he came here at the wrong time.
You're not wrong.
And like, he's standing in this courtyard in pain from this blood that has been melted all over him, looking at this church sucking up blood through branches and two naked men. Like, he just has no clue what the hell's going on, and is frozen in place, looking in shock as Gregor steps up behind him silently, just like any other Darklander. Cuts his throat.
Okay. Auntie Greybone.
Do we have to die, or can we just have whatever epilogue?
You don't have to die.
Oh, okay.
You could if you want to.
We see ourselves in some point in the future. We don't know when exactly.
Oh, you're epiloguing. Okay.
Oh, are we epiloguing right now? Or
I wasn't thinking of epiloguing, but we could just do that.
I thought the death scenes were the epilogue. Sorry.
No. Well, because just because people die doesn't mean everything about them disappears from the world.
So, yeah, I think I'm ready to epilogue. So, I think we see Auntie Greybone sitting under the willow tree with lots of little kids, presumably little gray marks, like around her knees. And she says, "Have I ever told you the story of," we don't call it the blood willow, of the guardian willow, of the soul dove willow, right? And I proceed to tell a story of the beautiful, fair, delicate maiden soul dove and the heroic Yoren Greymark who rescued her. Who they both were killed battling a great evil, but their love was eternal; it could not die, and so they were fused into this willow tree. And yeah, so I'm just keeping that going. This could be very far in the future for all we know. So
I like that. And then you look exactly the same.
I look exactly the same. Yeah.
Pine Strider.
Pine is dead. I mean, this entire transformation, it killed whatever was Pine. The thing that is now, it quickly discards these guys. And it soon, over the next months, it slowly adopts a form that is somewhere in between this persona and her old self. And she's the head of the church. And she goes by the name of Willow. She who walks with Yogg. And we see her back at the tree temple, carrying the willow. as someone drags a sacrifice, Benedict, and she cuts his throat. And as the willow sucks all the blood, you can hear a soft cry within the willow as Willow puts her hands on the tree. She rips it open and pulls from inside a red child crying. She gives it to an attendant and says, Yaug wills this one to be given to the Grey Marks.
Cue classical instrumental music. I guess that was the epilogue. Thanks, everyone.
These people learned nothing and made no forward progress at all.
No
They are
lessons.
just as horrible as they were before.
I just realized I feel like I kind of like took your victories away from you because it was like, yeah, good thing, and then I was like, but Yog is also there. Are you guys okay with that?
It's fine
Yep.
by me.
It got dark.
Yeah, I was like that last sequence I was not expecting. I didn't know where it was going, but I was like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this. And so yeah, I rolled with it.
That was good.
Yeah. I feel like it's very convenient to like hand things to Ludo because Ludo will always make it worse. So it's bad, right? Oh no, it's the pulsing willow. Great. Well, thank you everyone for playing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. It was great.
Thank you for bringing your all. I feel like this is definitely a game that relies a lot on the players, and every single person that has come on this show has brought something to the show. Sure, why not? The series have been really, really intense and really amazing. And thank you, Pat, for just like dropping in and then being like, oh, okay.
Even though I was the most ineffectual Black Hood ever. I think I rolled I think I rolled 5 times and I failed 4.
Yeah, you failed a lot of rolls. It's pretty unfortunate.
I mean, everyone has been failing all the way except Law. I mean,
the sweet irony there.
Yeah, this was very, very fun for me. I think we can end the broadcast.
How about stop the broadcast?